Welcome to the KCBD studio. I'm Steve Devine. I'm one of the forecasters here at News Channel 11. So when we're talking about severe weather, what really are we talking about? Well, the classic definition, that is the definition that's used most often, is whenever we have a thunderstorm that might produce wind gusts of at least 58 miles per hour or stronger, a thunderstorm that's producing hail of at least 1 inch in diameter, or a thunderstorm that produces a funnel cloud or a tornado. By the way, the difference between a funnel cloud and a tornado is a funnel cloud that has contact with the ground. That's the difference between the two of those. And of course, the strength of a tornado can vary dramatically from weak ones to very strong ones, which can do catastrophic damage. We have a lot of snow in our forecast, blizzard conditions. We would consider that to be a type of severe weather, and really heavy rain that might result in some flooding in the area too. Now, there are times of year where we expect to see more severe weather than at other times. Now, I want to point out that severe thunderstorms, severe weather can and has happened in every single month of the year. So it can happen anytime. It's least likely in the colder months. It's most likely, though, towards late spring. Right here in the Lubbock area in particular, peak would be towards the end of April, early May. But it ramps up towards that. Sometimes we get severe weather as early as February, and it continues to build up. And then after that mid-May period, it starts to drop off, but it doesn't just cut off real quick. It's just a process. Gradually builds towards the peak, and then we see it ease a little bit. And then especially towards late June into early August, it's usually pretty quiet. We get some thunderstorms, but we don't see that many of them that become severe. Some of them produce some very heavy rainfall, however. Then towards late August through much of September, we're looking at what we sometimes call our second severe weather season, where we have the potential, again, we see this little uptick generally in the stronger storms. Some of them become severe. Now, the storms typically earlier in the year have a higher potential of producing tornadoes. The storms that come during that second peak that I mentioned, that late August into September period, they tend to produce a lot of the strong winds and the really heavy rain that we sometimes see with the stronger storms here across the South Plains area. So during severe weather, we'll be talking about watches and warnings. And the difference between them is usually a watch means that heads up. This weather is likely going to happen, perhaps in the next hour, perhaps in the next 6 hours, depending on what type of weather we are talking about. And that warning means that this weather is imminent. That is, it is about to occur or it is already occurring in the area. So there are different actions that you take. When there's a watch, you should have a plan. What will I do if this weather actually occurs? For instance, a tornado watch. What would I do if there's actually a tornado that's moving toward my area? Now, in a warning, there's a tornado in your area, so that's when you should be taking cover. Now, for a watch, it's going to be issued generally for a very large area, perhaps all of the KCBD viewing area, a large part of West Texas, eastern New Mexico. A warning is typically going to be issued for parts of a county or perhaps several counties, depending on where that exact storm is. Another difference, a watch, again, which is issued in advance of this type of weather, is usually going to be in effect for an hour to several hours before that weather is anticipated. A warning, it could be 20 to 60 minutes, but sometimes the warning in case of a tornado, for instance, a severe thunderstorm, might even be less than that 20-minute mark. Now, this is for the severe weather typically associated with thunderstorms. If we're talking about winter weather, we have similar terms. Watch is for a winter storm that's expected, but that might be issued 24 to even 48 hours before the weather actually moves into the area. And then if we have a winter storm warning, that might be issued about 12 hours, maybe 24 hours before that storm actually moves into the area. Part of our forecast center, where we put together our forecast, includes what we call the green wall. This behind me is actually a green wall, it's just painted green. And the reason that it is there is because it allows us, through computers, to actually show you many different images rather than this green wall. What happens is the camera that you're looking at right now is showing me in front of the green wall. We then use equipment which kind of like takes scissors and cuts out all the green and gets rid of it. And then we can take any other image, a video, a picture, a graphic, a forecast, radar, and make it look like it's right there behind me. And that way I can tell you the story of what's going on, and we can move seamlessly from one image to the other. Thank you for spending some time with us today. When severe weather does strike, just a reminder, Weather Radio is a great resource to get watches and warnings. Our free KCBD weather app on your phone or your other mobile device. Tune into your favorite weather coverage station, such as KCBD News Channel 11. And remember, when thunder roars, go indoors.